Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today, guys, we're doing another update on Bitcoin after the Jerome Powell speech this afternoon. We've seen some pretty much significant downward price pressure, so we're going to jump into what's going on here with BTC and all that good stuff. As I get into it, if you find it useful, informative, maybe entertaining, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new, subscribe, and don't forget to join us down in Discord. Links are in the description down below. Okay, let's get started with this brief update on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin paired up with USDT here, and obviously, we're seeing a lot of negative kind of price action in the last couple of hours. This is pretty much on the back of the Jerome Powell speech, where basically he's tackling the war on inflation, and it's going to be painful. We can see that 400 points have come off the Dow, for example, as the Fed continue to raise rates to fight the inflation. And of course, we've seen the European market dip as well, as there is a lot more pain on the horizon. This is some stuff that we've been talking about for quite some time. This is not unusual to the channel. We've been quite bearish on Bitcoin pretty much for this entire corrective structure up towards the $25,000 level, and starting to see this five-wave structural move to the downside where we're looking to finish this off. Now, this morning I was talking about maybe pushing us up towards the $22,100 level during our live stream, and you can kind of see that we actually just narrowly missed off this double top area here, but again, very, very close to double topping and then pulling back down. So a bearish signal, rejection from here. The speech obviously compounding that and bringing us down. So we failed to hit our slightly higher target of 22,100. But for the most part, we are looking at this bleeding out in the market. Okay, so shorting the market here definitely would have been a reasonable kind of thing to do, but again, very, very difficult to have plotted that one out ahead of time. You could only speculate on what was going to be said. Now, essentially here, what we are looking at is this potential fifth wave coming down lower. Our targets for this are $20,000 to $20,500. Although given the degree that this has pulled back already, this might actually be a little bit too conservative. We might have to think about slightly lower targets. What we're going to have to do is measure out this five-wave drop if it turns into one. Right now, we are not quite there. If we take this low point before our significant bounce upwards and just move this over to here, for example, you can see that we came down to this 1.382, but we have not hit that $20,623 level to turn this into an impulsive structure just yet. It could, of course, be a five-wave ending diagonal structure, which again wouldn't surprise me too much, where we have something maybe more like this and overlapping structures, and actually that wave one is over there. So we could end up with something like that, takes us into this range. Not a problem, so we should keep a close eye on that. From our stochastic RSI, the biggest flag that we've got going at the moment is the fact that this stochastic RSI is holding up incredibly well under this selling pressure. This is basically telling us that there's actually a lot more room to the downside to have here before we can reach this oversold area, whereas when the market is less likely to sell and does not as fearful, you tend to find small corrections like this take us into this oversold area. Okay, so that hasn't happened, and instead we see a really significant pullback in terms of price and haven't really moved that stochastic RSI much. The 4 hourly is almost completely in the oversold area, so again, this corrective move coming down here on the 4 hourly chart is a good indication that we are going to be coming down a little bit lower. Keep this down into the nice oversold range on our 4 hourly chart for probably a few candles. I don't think we're going to do straight away bounce up or anything like that. Again, this is also interesting on the 8 hour chart. We're looking for corrections to come down. So probably over the next kind of 8, maybe even 24 hours, we could see this 8 hour stochastic RSI finally come down to the oversold area to align up nicely with our daily so that we can actually get that significant bounce to the upside. Because what I'm talking about, guys, is there's going to be a relief bounce to the upside after the panic selling has occurred down here. There will be the relief bounce. I have this between 22,500 and 24,500. This would be a typical kind of wave B or wave C, wave 2 structure on a slightly higher scale. As we said, 5 waves coming down here, for example, is only one part of the equation. It's either a zigzag as A, B, then C coming down lower during September, or we have a much deeper kind of structure where we go down 1, this is all wave 2, then we have 3, 4, and 5 into new lower lows and all that kind of stuff. So starting with the 5-wave structural move, this is important to understand that this is really the catalyst for the next kind of major moves within Bitcoin. And so right now the targets are still $20,000 to $20,500 on this lower scale. But again, the scale of this coming down at the moment means that we might end up overextending this, and we might have to actually count out 5 larger waves within our wave 5 structure here. But we'll know more about that in due course. So do stick with us, and we'll do another update tomorrow morning. Okay, so we'll do the stream Saturday morning, talking specifically, Bitcoin and Ethereum, what the wallets are up to, the dolphins, the sharks, the whales. We're taking a look at the Glassnode data in more details in terms of inflows, outflows, all the usual stuff that we do every day. for Bitcoin. But obviously, we'll now have a significant update to kind of talk about with this significant pullback in terms of price. Now, when we look at the scale of this at the moment, we are talking about 5% to the downside today, which doesn't sound like too much, but it's more about the fact that there's a lot of momentum behind that price. If we throw the volume in here, you can really see the significance of the volume coming in to basically drag this market down. This is going to have a pretty profound effect, not only on BTC, but pretty much most of these altcoins that are bleeding out now as well, including that of Ethereum, which you can see is really strongly breaking down from these areas here, as we are still talking about moving down into these lower ranges as well for Ethereum. So essentially, there's a lot to think about, lots of things to discuss tomorrow morning in terms of our daily updates for Bitcoin and ETH. But for now, Bitcoin is looking like it's heading down towards our lower targets. There's nothing here that's potentially going to prevent that on the short time frame. We should be thinking at least $20,000 to $20,500 in the very immediate future, in my opinion. But guys, if you found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.